So, hey YouTube, I have to go ahead and make another magnet video, even though I kind of said in the last video that there's really nothing left to talk about. God has a sixth sense of humor, because relatively quickly after I posted that video, I injured my magnet. So, yay, dumb me. I was just messing around in the backyard, moving cinder blocks and moving some rocks around, trying to make the yard pretty because it's summertime. And I set a large stone down on top of my finger. And yeah, it hurt. I wouldn't say that it hurt any more than just a normal rock crushing my hand on any of my other fingers, so that wasn't a problem. But there was a deep tearing sensation inside of my finger while it was being crushed, and for a good 45 minutes afterward my finger was throbbing in pain. So I was a little worried about that for a little while, and then the pain went away. It didn't swell up, it didn't start getting hot or anything like that, so I was like, okay, whatever, no big deal. And then a couple of days went by and my fingers started to hurt. So I looked at it and then I noticed there's a big dark blue spot, not where my magnet is, but relatively close by, and it hurts. So I assumed, because of the color, bruising. I did just crush my finger. You know, usually when you crush your finger you get like a blood blister or whatever on the top of your finger, but that doesn't mean you can't get a bruise on the bottom. So I didn't really think anything of it until the next day. And then the next day I looked at it, and that little blue spot that was, you know, just a BB-sized bruise now has a big white spot in the middle, and I know from experience that means pus. So I went ahead and I sterilized everything, and I didn't numb it up or anything like that because I wasn't going to do anything crazy at first. So I stuck the needle directly into what I thought was a blood pocket, and I felt what felt like sand at the tip of the needle. It was gritty, and that was a little weird. So I left the needle in and I unscrewed the syringe, and I filled the syringe full of IV fluid, just basic sodium chloride and water, and I screwed that back onto the syringe and irrigated out that little pocket. And basically meaning I injected liquid water under my skin, so when I pull the needle out I could push the water out and it will push whatever's inside out with it. Well, when it did that, I was expecting to see maybe some blood clots, some dead tissue, pus, things like that. But there were flakes of silver gold. Well, considering what my magnets are coated in, I knew that meant one of my magnets had been destroyed. Now, as I explained way back in my first video, the magnet that is in my finger is not one solid magnet. It's multiple tiny magnets. I think it's a total of 4. So it's 3 millimeters tall and 0.75 millimeters wide in total when you stack all those magnets on top of each other. So I wasn't panicking quite yet, because there's a chance that not all of my magnets were destroyed. So we went ahead and I numbed it up real good, and then I cut just a very small incision into my finger. I don't think it was more than 2 millimeters wide. It was very small. Just enough for me to open the finger and see what was going on. And from what I could see, let me get some cigarette packs, empty cigarette packs. Need a 4th one. Okay, so imagine that these cardboard boxes are the magnets, right? So they're all stacked up on top of each other. What had happened was this magnet got crushed and destroyed, but these 3 did not. My body separated, which I found quite amazing, separated the broken magnet from all the other magnets and traveled down my finger with it until it got stuck, and then it abscessed and started to get infected. I know, right? Totally cool. I was so happy to see that, all the other magnets were still okay. And I went ahead and I removed all of the old neodymium and all of the gold and any other metals that may have been left behind, and I used some more of that sodium chloride and I rinsed the whole thing out. I went in with a very, very bright light shining through my finger so I could actually see everything that's going on inside my finger. That way you could see if the pocket of pus has any tendrils coming off of it, like blood veins would. I didn't see any of those, so I knew it hadn't gone crazy on me. And the pocket that had the 3 safe magnets in it hadn't been disturbed at all. Those magnets hadn't moved, the color hadn't changed, nothing. The only thing that was weird was that other spot. But I got it all out. It no longer hurts. I think there's still a small amount of residue. I assume it's neodymium residue, but the residue is far enough out of my finger. The residue is deep enough into the epidermis that the dermis can't react. It's okay to have a thorn stuck in your dead skin for your entire life. It's dead skin. Your immune system's never going to attack it, because as far as your immune system's concerned, that dead skin's just going to fall off. So I'm not worried about it. The neodymium is no longer technically inside of my body. It's in between new skin and old skin, and when the old skin comes off, the neodymium will be pushed the rest of the way out. But with that said, let me see if we can see the black dot. That black dot is that neodymium residue. There we go. But the actual magnets are about where this finger, the tip of that finger is. So that's very large distance between here and there. You can see I got it all out, and it's currently healing. It doesn't look any worse than what you would expect from excavating a very large splinter out of your finger, so relatively short amount of healing time. But this all opened up an opportunity for discussion with you guys. If you should so happen to experience the heartbreaking act of destroying your neodymium magnet, you don't have very many options. Depending on what option you chose for implantation will determine whether or not you completely lose your magnet now, or you do what I did and you don't lose your entire magnet. Since I used more than one magnet, I'm okay. I removed the offending magnet, and the other magnets are still in place, and my body doesn't react, so I didn't lose anything. But if I had had just one solid magnet, and any of that magnet had gotten damaged at all, you have to remove the entire thing. Because you have to think about it like a poison capsule. Think about just having a pill of poison coated in a very thin layer of wax. It doesn't matter what piece of wax falls off or how little, if any of the wax coating is destroyed at all, the poison can leach. And the wax coating would be the gold coating in my magnet's case. So if you only have a single magnet, which most people do, because I've actually gotten a lot of people going, that's a bad idea, Sarah, you really shouldn't have had it done that way, but I did it that way for my own reasons. Don't worry about it. I have my own opinion about it. In my personal opinion, having multiple magnets stacked on top of each other. Yes, yeah, well, I lost my cigarettes. So, having multiple magnets stacked on top of each other, though the magnets, and this is just my opinion, by the way, I have no idea if there's any scientific backing to it. In my opinion, when you have these magnets stacked up on top of each other, there's still a negligible space between them, and my thinking was the nerve endings would grow between and around this column of magnets. Now, that may not be true at all, but considering the ripping sensation, I'd have to say, yeah, I was probably at least slightly successful in that particular endeavor. But I'm digressing. So, you got one single magnet and you smashed it in a door. There are going to be a few symptoms, and some of those symptoms are a little different for everybody. Not everybody was like me and doesn't notice a reaction for days. A lot of people would have a reaction like that night. They wake up tomorrow morning and their body has already pushed the neodymium magnet up to the surface. It's not like out of your finger, you still have to cut it out, but you can see it now. I've seen many photos of that one. A lot of people wake up the next morning after crushing it in the door or whatever, and it's already pussy and swollen and red and feels like it's on fire, and oh my gosh. So, the way you know whether or not something's going wrong, assume any color change after it's healed. Once you're like totally fully healed, you've had it 2 or 3 months, any color change is probably a bad thing. I wouldn't necessarily pay attention to the color change of pink, because the pink comes and goes just because my fingers are always being used, and I guess that's normal. But blue, from my personal experience, blue means black underneath your skin more than likely. And if you see blue, take it out. If you see brown, take it out. If it hurts, take it out. If it's going crazy, like, you know, an infected splinter would, take it out. They're not hard to put back in, and I mean, come on, I've had 3, and only 1 has been successful. This is just something you're gonna have to deal with. It's the same thing with young ladies getting belly button piercings. You'll find a lot of us young ladies who get belly button piercings have to do it 2 or 3 times because our bodies will reject the piercing or it will get infected and we have to start over. That's just a fact of body modification. I've come to find out that it's probably impossible to go the rest of your life without ever smashing that particular finger again. I don't know why part of me thought that I could get away with that. Excuse me. But the only thing you really can do is just hope and pray that you smash your finger just right. Now, I have found location is very important when it comes to your magnet. You want to put it on the inner area. So for this finger, it would be here and on here. But once you get to the other side, it'll be on this side and then this side. And that's where you put them. That way, when you smash it, it's more than likely going to smash that direction. Or if I smash my index finger, this part's the part that's going to get squished. But my magnet's not on this side of the bone. My magnet's on this side of the bone. So that's one important location thing. Because what you'll find is the outermost edge of your finger is the edge that you use the most. So when you're playing an instrument, when you're typing on a keyboard, when you're pushing an elevator button, you're using the outer edge. But you almost never use your inner edge for anything. I mean, come on, how many times have you seen somebody try to push something like that? They don't. They push it like that. So there's that. You have to make sure that the person who implants your magnet in such a way that if it gets crushed from top, you know, nail bed down, that the magnet's not underneath the bone. That's another way that you're going to crush your magnet, because if you smash your magnet and it's in the perfect spot, you have a good chance of keeping your magnet, because your magnet will be cushioned by tissue. But if your magnet's in the wrong place, now you're literally crushing your magnet between a bone and a rock. It's going to crack it, and you're going to have to remove it. So, location, location, location. Other than that, I haven't had very many problems with it. It did start to itch a little bit, but I assume that's just an immune system reaction, the little bit of neodymium powder residue stuff that may still be left inside of the skin. But I've had no more pain, no more pus, no more heat, no more swelling, no more redness. Everything's gone back relatively to normal. What I mean by relatively to normal is it feels different when I rub on it. It's very noticeable that I now have 3 instead of 4. Even though you wouldn't think that just almost 1 millimeter would make a difference, but inside of your body it really does make a difference, because you notice everything that happens inside your biosuit here. I did even, in fact, for a little while there, go full-blown fever. When it was pussing up really bad, I went into fever and chills for a little while. And I talked to a few people, and it's pretty much a tie as to why I experienced that sensation. Some people think that I got the fever because of the infection. Duh, infection means fever. But other people believe it was because of neodymium poisoning, because neodymium is very poisonous. This is, like I said, it's a capsule of poison wrapped in a very thin layer of gold. That's it. So, which way it is, whether or not I was really getting sick from neodymium running in my bloodstream, or whether or not I was just getting sick because I had a finger infection, I'm not really sure. I don't really care. I know it's gone now. I did start taking amoxicillin 500 milligram twice a day for, I think, 4 or 5 days during the whole process. That's just something that I personally do every time I self-harm, more or less. I won't take antibiotics if I get hurt. I won't take antibiotics if I was just, doing the dishes and I cut my hand accidentally with a knife or something. But if I went into my finger like I did with the sodium chloride in a syringe, there's a chance that, maybe my syringe wasn't as clean as I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it's clean. The package says it's sterile, but I'm not a professional. I could have screwed up the process of sucking up some sodium chloride, and sucked in a few bacteria that's now injected into my body. I can't see the bacteria, so I don't know. I assume that there is bacteria, and I just take antibiotics to prevent anything from getting infected or doing anything crazy, which can't really be a bad thing. Unless you overuse your antibiotics, then, you get MRSA. Don't do that. If you have MRSA, for the love of God, keep it away from your magnet. That's not cool. I have MRSA, but it's just like a MRSA ear infection. I don't know. It's just in the earlobe. I got it from a dirty gauge, or a dirty taper, I think is the correct term. Back when I was still stretching my ears in middle school. They're not stretched no more, but yeah. So if you have MRSA, you don't want it to spread. Don't play with that. So I don't play with this ear with my magnet when it's open. If you have staph, definitely keep it away from that. I don't even know why I'm going off on this weird tangent, but hey, extra time. So, let's see what's left. I didn't have to wrap it or anything like that. It was pretty much as I've already explained. Just cut it open, irrigated it, washed it, cleaned it, took some antibiotics for a couple of days, and it's going back down. I still do not know for a fact at this very moment whether or not I will lose my other 3 magnets. That is yet to be determined, because it's entirely possible that I was wrong and that some of my other magnets are indeed crushed as well. But there's no definitive color that would make me think that it is. So I'm not too worried about that particular fact. And like I said, it doesn't hurt, it's not swollen, it's not hot. But I've decided that I'm not going to go ahead and implant my finger again. I know I said I would, I know I said I wanted to, but I'm totally lying to you people. I do not want another magnet. Oh my god. I just can't bring myself to deal with everything that I had to deal with again. I mean, I've already dealt with it 3 times. I'm so done with my fingers hurting, and no. I mean, maybe next year, when, I forget about how much it hurts, like having babies, it takes a couple of years before you think that's a good idea again. And, so, I'm sorry about that small little disappointment. I still might do a how-to video of how to implant a magnet, but I'm not going to be using a real human finger to do it. What I'm probably going to end up doing is getting a baby carrot or making a human finger out of clear silicone. That way you can actually see like the whole implantation process. That would be cool. And then put that up there for you. If you guys don't want any of that and you're just fine with, hey Sarah, sorry, here you're not going to go ahead and do it, but we're cool. That's fine. Just let me know down below in the comments what you guys want. Y'all are the ones I listen to. Y'all are the ones I'm trying to entertain here. I'm not doing this because I like hearing myself talk. I'm actually trying to tell you people stuff, and that requires y'all to be asking questions. So, there's that. And on top of the magnet thing, I'm going to start doing probably like the most cliche female video channel thing ever, and bring up hair tutorials, makeup tutorials. I might even go into some of the things that just I personally do, like corsetting or how to make candy. Not food candy, it's a rave thing. Don't worry about that, it's beating. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure how that's all gonna go, but if y'all want other videos, I'm here. I live here. I don't go anywhere. I'm bored here. Give me something to do. Okay? Cool. So I'll see you guys around on the boards and down below in the comments, and see you next time. Bye.